Welcome to another Kaldheim quick draft. This will be my my fifth attempt. I've just read another draft guide just to get another opinion. So you can find this one at hobbylark.com. It's called MTG Kaldheim Draft Tips and Tricks. So it's always interesting just to see someone else's opinion. And this guy, he suggests 4 toughness creatures are at a premium because there's a lot of power 3 creatures he's noticed, which is fair enough. He says different things from the other guides. He thinks you should stick to two colours because there aren't. Well, I guess we do have the Snowlands that give us 2 colours. So I'm gonna suggest he's probably a bit wrong about that. I think you can stretch beyond 2 colours. So yeah, and he says Iron Verdict, Demon Bolt, are both pretty good, best commons. But he likes the cycle of 3/3 creatures at casting cost 4, which really not very. The only one that's rated really highly by everyone is the green one that draws you a card. And I think the Raven, the flying 3/3, is really good as well. But the other one's not so much, I think. Anyway, so that was his suggestion. So we're just going to dive straight into this. 5,000 gold. So I won't be able to do another one of these for a while, but I think it's a good investment. It's still a good investment of gold. And right away we've got quite a good rare, Showdown of the Skalds. So I think I've got a couple of these in my collection. So this is a good pick for me. I am just rare drafting when I can. And that puts us in white and red. So we might end up playing our third Boros deck. So let's just read the card. Exile the top 4 cards of your library till the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. So you get an untap step. So hopefully you can play at least a couple of them. Whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, so this lines up perfectly with a sort of cheap Boros aggro strategy, I would say. But just to remind myself, I always say let's pick the 5 best cards in the first 5 packs and see where that leaves us. But it's going to be hard to beat Showdown of the Skalds. It's going to be hard to beat Boros aggro, I would say. So often I find cards that are sort of at a similar power level across different colours, and then I'll preferentially go for the sort of the Boros choice. So first of all, yeah, Giant's Amulet is really good. So if you spend 5 mana in total, you're getting a 4/5 giant with hexproof. Very solid card. Great for the Giants deck. Then we've got Karda's Vicious Return. So let's see, you can sacrifice a creature and do 3 damage to any target. So that's good. That's a nice removal step. Then each player has to discard a card, and then you can return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter, and it gets haste as well. So yeah, that's really good. It's just you're going to need a few creatures to fuel its direct damage part. I do notice it's optional, but you're not going to want to skip that part. 3 damage is quite key as well, in particular because of the 3/3 flying Raven, which I've noticed decides quite a few games because it's sort of, if you can't deal with that, you're going to die pretty quickly. It's often a case of who has the most Ravens. So yeah, this is really good as well. I don't know if it goes with Showdown of the Skalds that well. And then Axgard Armory. So this is the perfect Boros card. So yeah, it's just a tap land, but late game you can sack it and actually tutor for an aura or an equipment card. And there are plenty of good equipment cards in the set. It cannot find Showdown of the Skalds because that's a saga, which is a shame. But so that's really good, and that's in the uncommon. That's an uncommon. In the commons, Goldmaw Champion as well is a really good Boros card. But we'd probably favour the uncommon over this one. We'll probably get another one of these later. I don't think I've read this card before. Littjara Kinseekers. If you control 3 or more creatures that share a creature type, you can put a +1/+1 counter on them and scry once. They become a 3/5. And they scry, so yeah, that's definitely a pretty good changeling card. I haven't tried making a shapeshifter deck yet. I see people playing this guy quite a lot. Right, that is a 7/6 for 7. Pretty decent for the Giants deck. Tormentor's Helm. I've seen people playing this, or I've seen it in deck lists for draft. So yeah, it is 1 red mana and then 1 to equip. So that just means it's really efficient to use this one. And then it just buffs the creature up and it gets to push damage through. So I think that's a very solid equipment card, which I'd probably go for if there wasn't an Axgard Armory. So yeah, first 2 uncommons are really good, but I don't know if they're that much better than Axgard Armory. So I'll go for the Armory. Okay, so we've turned up another rare, and we are rare drafting. So we'll just grab this one without thinking too much. I can see the pack is pretty good. We're missing out on a Frostbite and an Alpine Meadow, but so hopefully something good will wheel around. So we'll read Pyre of Heroes and see if it's playable. It is a 2 mana artifact, so yeah, that's right. It's the one if your creature cards share creature types, you can kind of gradually ramp up the size of your creatures. It is sorcery speed. You can't do this in response to removal. If we look at something like a Goldmaw Champion, he's a Dwarf Warrior. If you could somehow put together a Dwarf deck with Dwarves of different casting costs, so Master Skald is also a Dwarf Warrior. If you could get something that's 4 mana, you could go from Goldmaw Champion, 4 mana Dwarf, and then Master Skald. I think it's a bit of a long shot, to be honest with you. Right, but let's look at the rest of this pack. Divine Gambit, a very interesting removal spell. You can exile artifact, creature, enchantment. They can then put a permanent from their hand onto the battlefield. So it's you give them, I think, you give them tempo advantage. I think that's what they call it. So they're not getting card advantage, but they're getting a bunch of a free spell, so a bunch of free mana basically. It's gonna be good at some points, and it'll be absolutely terrible at other times. I would say it's almost like you want a couple of removal cards. You want something to kill. You want this one, and then something to kill the follow-up card. Most of the time, I'm guessing your opponent's going to probably play the 6/6 green life gain creature. It's going to suddenly pop out when you blow up something with this. So you want to kill something big with this. I guess that's the main thing. Still, it is removal. It's worth considering. Doomscar Titan, Giant Berserker. So it is a 5/4 haster. It does affect itself. It can come out turn 5 as well. Yeah, dual strike. That could go really well with Divine Gambit, actually. Because, what are the chances he has two really good things to put out from his hand? Not that high, I would say. There's Goldmaw Champion again, Master Skald. So, guess what? Master Skald can bring back sagas, well, artifacts or enchantments from your graveyard as long as you exile a creature card, which you don't forget about that bit. He can bring back Showdown of the Skalds, which could be really big card advantage. So, I think in this situation, Master Skald is looking quite good. We're not quite sure how good Divine Gambit's going to be. It seems risky, and it's a double white spell as well, which could be awkward. Doomscar Titan seems good, very aggressive. But I think the Boros deck, we're trying to get cheap creatures where we can, and equipment. Not that Master Skald isn't particularly cheap, but possibly we ought to go Goldmaw Champion and hope that Master Skald wheels around. Yeah, I think that might be it. I think for our Boros aggro deck, Goldmaw Champion makes the most sense. I don't really rate him as Sturm Raider, so we'll get the Goldmaw Champion. Make sure we've got a decent Boros card. Okay, Invasion of the Giants. It's definitely for the Giants deck only. Battlefield Raptor is actually perfect for our deck. So is Axgard Cavalry. That can give haste. Fearless Pup as well. So I think we'll go for the flying first striker. Battlefield Raptor is probably the best one there. Another warrior. Okay, so this is nice. So I can give all my creatures +1/+1. That seems really good. Right, interesting. Green-blue uncommon. So you can bounce, return snow permanent, 2 snow permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then you can shuffle cards in the graveyard into the library. There's Master Skald again, but we're just gonna, fingers crossed, we'll get a Master Skald later on. Tuskegee Firewalker is pretty good. So if you're a low to the ground aggro deck, that boast ability can be card advantage quite consistently. You'll have enough mana to play whatever's on top, because you're maybe everything's costing between 1 and 3. So yeah, Battershield Warrior's got to be the best one there, I think. Then we see another Battershield Warrior. So our 3-drops are pretty are filling out pretty quickly. Giant Ox, Cinderheart Giant, so we're not really going for big creatures. So yeah, just grab another Battershield Warrior. Okay, Divine Gambit is back. Interesting card, but Story Seeker is a 2-drop. It's got lifelink. It's pretty good. I'm just imagining them playing, you know, a Cyclone Summoner from their hand or something absolutely horrendous. That's putting me off Divine Gambit. I think we'll go Story Seeker. That seems like the safe choice. I don't think you play this main deck. Yeah, Fearless Pup is where we want to be, I think. Okay, another Goldmaw Champion or a Tormentor's Helm. Got quite a lot of boast already, quite a lot of 3-drops. I think we'll go for this equipment first, because it's not one I've tried. But I've tried 2 Boros decks before, and I've not had that particular card yet. It does seem just efficient and good. We've got a late Frostbite turn up. I think that is going to be the best thing. Yeah, better than another Battlefield Raptor, I think. So going to look out for some snowlands now. Just try and power that up to 3 power. Okay, there's loads of Divine Gambits going around. None of the bots seem to want it either. So it's between that and Dual Strike. If we get enough instants and sorceries, Dual Strike could be good, but it's not. Yeah, we're not going to be building that kind of deck. I think we'll go for the Divine Gambit, and we might play it, we might not play it. Actually, Raiders Karve, I just didn't really look at this card at all. I just read it. When it attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Great. So that just ramps your deck out. We've got a couple of 1/1s. We've actually got 4 1-mana cards. So I don't know if we need another Fearless Pup particularly. I quite like what this card does, so let's give it a go, I think. Provoke the Divine is a sideboard card. Giant Ox, okie doke. Ah, wow. I actually had Glorious Protector in my previous draft, so that's the perfect rare to grab. Oh my goodness, we got Blood on the Snow. So I don't think we'll play this in this deck somehow, but that's fantastic for my collection. That's my first one. Yeah, that's the blue-white tap land. So it gives you a bit of card advantage. Another Divine Gambit there. Another Giant Ox. So this will be an aura. So if we remember, auras can be found by Axgard Armory. It's not that exciting an aura, but I suppose it leaves behind a 1/1 flyer, which could actually be quite important. Then Warhorn Blast as well is good for a deck with lots of cheap creatures, but I think it's something that tends to wheel around. Maybe we're a Divine Gambit deck. maybe we'll draw both of these and we won't worry about my opponent getting something really good out. I'm not too inspired by the options here. Maybe Divine Gambit is good. We'll pick it. It's going to be amusing anyway. It's definitely got entertainment value packed up in that little card. Okay. Goldmaw Champion. Godswall Guardian. Can't decide if I drafted a few of these but not played any yet, because it's usually I'm playing a Boros deck. It's a bit too expensive. I think it's just Goldmaw Champion, isn't it? Right, Provoke the Trolls is a removal card. So we'll grab that. Okay, there's a Master Skald. Now it's Master Skald or Tormentor's Helm. I think we'll get the Skald this time. He's our late game. Right, we don't have amazing choices here. I've not tried Seize the Spoils. That could, it's card draw, it could keep our momentum going. Right, when I draft Immersturm Raider, I usually end up dropping it. So we'll give Seize the Spoils a chance, and that can be a bit of mana fixing potentially. I'm going to go for a Giant Ox, I think. Which we might not play. We'll just drop that from the deck. No, we'll keep it in the deck at the moment, just to remind myself I've got that. Right, Longboat, 3/3 Vigilance. Okay, yeah, not amazing options. I think we'll try Valor of the Worthy. I don't think I've not played it yet in my deck, in any of my Boros decks. Quite like Dread Rider. It's very tough indeed. Could even splash for a Dread Rider. There's a sort of finisher. But it seems ambitious to do that. I think when we can just get Tormentor's Helm. It's really throwing lots of Giant Oxes around, isn't it? I think we want the Warhorn Blast. Want at least one in the deck. Yeah, Shackles. We've actually hit 23 cards, so this is enough cards for a deck. Right, sideboard for that one. Oh look, it's going to give us a Dread Rider anyway. Just remind myself, so it is 1 black and 1 to use its ability. So you definitely want some permanent black mana sources in your deck to use this. But yeah, we're going for the rare again. I think this might be my 4th copy of this one. And we can click on this button and just sort of get a better look at the layout. We've actually got quite a few cheap things. So I don't think we're a Giant Ox deck. I am going to just sideboard that for the moment. Shackles of Treachery. I don't usually play that one. We do have a land as well, so that would put us 3 cards short of a deck. Possibly 4 if we're playing 16 land. So I see Usher of the Fallen here, who's absolutely fantastic. That one's not bad as well. So that grows as you use Boast. We've got quite a bit of Boast as well. Yeah, Braggart. So I think it's the Usher of the Fallen though. I think we we slightly prefer a good 1-drop to a good 2-drop. I don't know, actually. That Frenzied Raider's nuts. How much boast do we have? Actually quite a lot. So this would be the go wide plan. With Warhorn Blast. That definitely works well with Warhorn Blast. But this would be one. This would be a growing threat for 2 mana, which is pretty excellent when you've got at least, I think we've got 5 boast cards already. Tricky one. Feels a bit mad to not take an Usher of the Fallen. No, I think I'm going to go Usher of the Fallen, even though this is amazing, because we'll go for the go wide plan, I think. I'm going to just remind myself, snow-covered plains, we actually need... so we've got frostbite, so ideally we could get some snowlands. Now, yeah, that's interesting. We really don't have many creatures. We've only got 10 creatures. Yeah, we probably drop Seize the Spoils. Divine Gambit. We might drop that. That's just... Alright, we've got a rare. We are just picking that rare. Although I tell you what, Dual Strike with Divine Gambit, it's pretty tasty. And I'm not... Okay, it would mean missing out on Dwarven Reinforcements, which is pretty good. I think, yeah, well, hopefully the Dual Strike wheels around. We'll grab Dwarven Reinforcements. Battlefield Raptor's good, another Skald would be good. Snow-covered mountain as well. I think we've definitely got a sort of go wide plan. I think Battlefield Raptors are the best thing to get. We haven't got any much amazing equipment really, have we? We've got 2 Tormentors Helm. That might be it as well. Okay, Provoke the Trolls is good. Okay, Code Spell Cleric, he's cheap. And gives you a +1/+1 token counter. I mean, which kind of fits with my deck quite well. Starnheim Courser makes the artifacts and enchantments a bit cheaper. It's a 2/2 flyer as well. I think maybe we want a 2/2 flyer. Maybe more than another 4 mana removal spell. Okay, another Code Spell Cleric is there. or a breakneck Berserker. I think we like the Code Spell Cleric. We're getting a lot of 1-drops here. Raven Wings is good. A good equipment card. Rune of Sustenance is quite good as well. It's quite a tough choice between these two. I suppose I have 3 flyers. It doesn't feel like enough, but maybe it means we can go for a Rune of Sustenance just about. Okay, there's just nothing there. Vault Robber, I don't know about Vault Robber, really. But he's a 2 mana drop, I guess. We are very short on 2 mana drops. Look at that. It's an unusual mana curve. I think we just take him because he's a 2-drop. Seize the Spoils it's another card draw card. I think we're more likely to use that. Just build sideboard at the moment. Yeah, Godsoul Guardian, sideboard. There we go. Dual Strike came back round. Nice. I think definitely we take that one. I think we're more likely to use this combat trick. Another pup. Okie doke. That was definitely interesting. We didn't get any amazing equipment. We've got a couple of Tormentor's Helm, that's about it. I like the sound of Divine Gambit with my dual strike. We'll take that out for the moment. I think we'll just cut anything we're probably unlikely to use. Vault Robber probably goes. Do we use a Raiders Karve? It's decent, but we don't have to use it. It would be one less 3-drop in the deck. And I think I'd like to keep Warhorn Blast with the number of small creatures we've got. So I think I'll call that end of part 1. Actually, we'll just do. We did quite well on for my collection. I got 1, 2, 3. Right, it's there. 4, 5, and the Glorious Protector makes 6. That's a decent bit of drafting. But yeah, I'll call that end of part 1. I'll probably make a few changes to the deck. See if I can fit in Dual Strike and Divine Gambit. That sounds like a plan.